First off, I would like to say that I'm not endorsed by EA or any of its affiliates. I'm not a spokesperson, and all views expressed are of my own opinion. What's up, guys? Timothy himself here with my first ever scoop or poop, where the premise is simple. I get a new game as soon as possible, play it, then review it for you guys to see if it's worth spending your hard-earned schmeckles on. Here at SlikkWikk, I pride myself on offering honest, fair reviews and making my fellow game consumer, you guys, a little more aware of what a similar person's opinion on a game is. And with the AAA market charging upwards of $50 for new titles, I feel it's fair to have a look at a viewpoint that's not being sponsored or paid for. These are, and always will be, my honest opinions. There may be some hot takes, and you may not agree with what I say. That's fine. As I said, this is my opinion. With that being said, make sure to leave a like and smash that subscribe button. Click that little bell so you can see when I release new videos. Let's get into it. First off, I want to start by addressing the elephant in the room. I know it's been on a lot of your guys' mind. It was on mine as well. You might see the footage here from Madden 24. Is this game a Madden clone? I'm going to be 110% honest with you. I don't think so. I think EA did a pretty good job of making it feel like a fresh game, like a new game. As far as the game speed, it feels a lot faster even after coming back to Madden, which is this footage right here, coming back to Madden from playing college football 25. Felt significantly slower. Like even the run speed, you can see I'm kind of doing the RB spam right there to kind of build some speed on the kick return. But yeah, definitely feel like college football 25 in that regard wouldn't be a Madden clone. Now, with that being said, there's definitely assets that have been brought over from Madden. In one of my previous videos, I spoke on Battlefield and how they use the Frostbite engine, Battlefield 5. That's the same engine being used here in Madden 24 as well as in College Football 25. I find it to be a pretty good engine, personally, graphically. I mean, I don't think it looks too bad. I don't know if perhaps they did something different with the College Football 25 Frostbite engine, but the game does seem fresher, has more of a shine to it. If that makes any sense, you'll kind of understand as we get into the video and you see more footage. But yeah, with that being said, there's multiple ways that I believe College Football 25 stood out, so we'll go ahead and break that down a little bit for you guys here right now. First thing you're going to notice right off the bat, even loading into the game, is just the atmosphere. Not as bland, has a little bit more life to it than the Madden 24, just Madden in general for the past, I don't know, like decade. It's been pretty bland. More atmospheric things you can see right here. Kind of got the entrances and the tunnels. They're for different schools. They have different what's the word I'm looking for? Ambiance, I guess, and different traditions. So like, if you're at home and there's certain traditions, you might see the Stripe crowd in the back here at Oregon. This was on Road to Glory. It shows a lot more in Road to Glory than it does in Play Now. I will say that much. But even in Play Now, there's different atmospheric things, licensed music. You got Mo Bamba when you play at Penn State a lot. They play it for other teams, but mainly there. Any situations that you might find yourself in, third downs, fourth downs, field goals, things like that. Playing in Texas, every time you score, they got the cannon that goes off. OSU, they play the fight song. Everybody in the crowd's throwing up OHIO. Just little things like that. But that's one thing I feel that separates it from Madden is the atmosphere and kind of the ambiance of it all. Makes you feel like you're definitely having the college experience. So another big difference you'll see between college football and Madden, for the offensive side of the ball, they've made a few changes. So even just the button layout is different. So generally on Madden, if you want to look at your plays, show bluff plays, stuff like that, when you're playing couch co-op, what you're going to want to do is hit the left trigger, and then there's a series of commands you can give using the right analog stick, right toggle stick. On college football, it's a little different. They kind of flipped it, so now you use right trigger to do that because your left trigger is now dedicated to showing the clear-headedness of your players, showing different amounts of wear and tear, which we'll get into later. That's another difference that separates it from Madden, is the wear and tear system. Not as game breaking as you would think, but like I said, we'll get to that bridge a little bit later on in the video. But yeah, offensively, the button layout is different, as I'm sure you guys have probably seen if you've been watching any of the releases by EA. There is a custom stem option, so now you can put receivers on a set route like you normally would, a cross, a slant. Deep crosses is something they introduced. You got your post routes, corner routes, things like that, curls. But now what you can do is by hitting L1 or LB if you're on Xbox like me, you can now change the distance of that route. So say situationally it definitely plays a factor, because say you're going in the red zone and you want to throw a cross route, but you don't want to throw a 30-yard cross on a shot play, you can pick the same shot play you'd normally run and just custom stem that route to be a shorter crossing route. Just things of that nature, but generally that's one thing that definitely separates it, is the ability to have a different button layout and kind of run and test and experiment with different offensive schemes using that new custom stem that they added in. Now, as far as the stadiums and the venues go, in Madden, you pretty much are just stuck with what you got unless you play Pro Bowl, Super Bowl, or go to one of the other venues they have. They got some foreign venues, Mexico, London, Germany, stuff like that. In college football, you have a much larger array, as well as different color fields. I'm sure everybody knows about Boise State and their field, the blue field. I believe there are a few others, none that come to mind at the moment. Unfortunately, I don't really follow college football like that. Games are fun, though. But yeah, across college football, there's 134 teams, I believe, with more than 150 stadiums, because in college football, you have a much wider array. Here's another shot at Oregon. You also have Big Ten, all the schools that they just added to the Big Ten, all the lesser-known schools. You also have all the bowl games, so you get all the different bowl games, Military Bowl, from the Military Bowl to the Cotton Bowl to the Rose Bowl. You got your national title game, which is played on an NFL field. There are also NFL fields in the game. Pittsburgh, the University of Pittsburgh, shares a stadium with the Pittsburgh Steelers, as well as there being a shared stadium for the national title, because that's held in Mercedes-Benz Stadium, I believe. So, yeah, when it comes to variety as far as different venues and locations to play in, I'd say the edge definitely goes to college football. But you can't talk about venues without talking about atmosphere. So here goes some little footage to show you guys kind of what the feel is when you load into a game of college football 25. Definitely gives you the college feeling, from the fans to the crowd chants to the way they got the camera set up, the cheerleaders, the mascots, everything. Because me personally, I'm an Ohio State fan, I'm an OSU fan, I'm from Columbus, Ohio, so definitely how they said they were thinking that every team is somebody's favorite team. I believe they put a lot of love into this project. There's a multitude of different stadiums and venues with a multitude of different fan bases, and that's represented fairly well, I would say. Even the play art you can see here, kind of like it's like sketched out. It's not as mundane as Madden. It's got a little bit more life to it. Now we got to talk about the defense. Unfortunately, I don't have any footage here in this video of me playing defense, but there's plenty on my page if you guys want to go check that out. But defensively, okay, me being a defensive player, I find the defense fresh but frustrating. I guess that'd be the best way to put it. Fresh but frustrating. There's a lot of new stuff. There's coverage shells. You can kind of disguise your defense, show blitz and be in coverage or cover two, things of that nature. The wider field in college football represents a host of challenges on defense. Especially in spread formations. You can kind of see me running one here. That's kind of the meta for college football, is just spread the field. Also, they revamped the options, which I am excited about. I'm sure if you've seen any of my clips, you know. But defensively, it's hell. I'm going to be honest with you. There's new badges. It's kind of like a badge system from 2K. If anybody plays 2K, I don't anymore. I bought the Cubby edition of 24, played one game of my career, and fucking uninstalled it. And it's been collecting dust in my library. But I digress. If you've played 2K, they've got kind of like a badge system, which isn't bad here, actually. I kind of like it better than the game-breaking X Factors on Madden. But there's certain levels to the badges. So at the higher levels, the quarterback can see when you're blitzing, which I think is kind of game-breaking. That is game-breaking. Not so much with the coverage sales, because you can kind of disguise it and work around that, but it definitely becomes an issue. Also, being somebody that switches coverages a lot, if you're switching coverage from, say, a cover 3 to a cover 1, that will be represented on the field by your players switching sides of the field. If you guys are looking for a little bit more realism, it is more realistic, but in Madden, they kind of give you a grace period to transition players from one side of the field to another. College football, that's not the case. I've had a couple games playing against friends where I went to go from a cover 2 hard flat to a cover 1 because they were going to fucking cheese a streak, and my player was mid-run across the field to get into position. They had just hiked the ball and launched the fucking streak, and that's a insta score, obviously. So defensively, you kind of just have to be more keen and acute to what's going on the field and kind of come out in the formation that you want to stay in, unless you're running a coverage shell. But with that being said, it's definitely different than Madden, especially with the buttons being switched around and the new button layouts and the new speed and pacing of college football. It's definitely different. Now, I'm sure you guys might be asking, hey, Slick, why am I looking at Madden 24 content when there's a college football 25 video? Well, this is simply just to demonstrate the differences in gameplay, especially the speed. You can see this moves a lot slower. Damn, got sacked. It's alright, I'll get him back next play. But yeah, this is just to demonstrate the differences in gameplay, the differences in graphical fidelity, game speed, game flow, crowd reaction. You don't see much reaction from the crowd so much in Madden. College football as a whole, I'd say, just feels a lot more alive. Blockers actually block. You will see a blocker. I had one game pancaked a lineman from the defending team repetitively, like pancaked him, he got up, and then pancaked him again, then he got up, and then pancaked him again. So everything just feels more alive. The crowd feels more involved with the crowd chants and the different celebrations and traditions and rituals. Everything just seems to flow a little better, if that's making sense. I'm not sure the right way to put it, but it's just an aura. The game has more of an ambiance, if that's striking a chord with any of you guys. From the mascots, as I was saying earlier, just the fatigue system. Let's just dive into that. The fatigue system. So, it's not game breaking like you would think. It's not something that would have you consistently running around concerned, worried about taking risks or things of that nature. It just makes you play a little bit more intelligibly, with a little bit more higher of a game IQ. So, for instance, Me, I'm somebody who likes to scramble out with my quarterback. If you're playing a team with some heavy hitters like Michigan, Bama, Crimson Tide, things of that. Even Colorado with Travis Hunter playing both sides of the ball. You might want to rethink some decisions you might make. You might want to slide when you usually would spin. You might want to do this when you usually should do that. But even then, it's not truly game breaking. I actually feel it's a welcome touch, honestly, and I was not looking forward to it at all. I thought it was going to totally break the game and fuck up everybody's play style, especially if you're a risk taker like me. You know, I'm somebody that scrambles, runs a lot with the ball, run a lot of option plays. But overall, it's actually not that bad. Props to EA for that one. Here's another look at some of those small touches, just like the celebrations, the way the team interacts with each other. It's like they're alive. It's like you're playing with actual players and not playing with computer code and polygons. You know, that's nice to see. You can see here even Madden struggles with the linemen. Even they've been trying to advance it and tweak it and critique it and make it better over the years. Allegedly, I really don't see much improvement, and they did it immediately for college football, but you know, I digress. Honestly, overall, I feel they put a lot of work into it. The team behind it, I feel like they actually gave a fuck, which is new for EA. With them having the only license to make NFL games, they've kind of just been cash cowing it and pumping out fresh dog shit every year. Especially with the microtransactions in Madden Ultimate Team. I think that's pretty dumb. Even in college football, that's one thing I can say they definitely carried over, but that definitely was going to get carried over regardless. They got to have their little pay piggy to come and suckle their bosom for the glorious thing that has become microtransactions. Certain milk of microtransactions, some might say. But I digress. I've thrown enough shots at EA. Well, there's never enough shots at EA, but they're taking a step in the right direction with this one. That's what I'm getting at. All in all, I believe it's definitely a reach to call it a Madden clone, per se. Nice little pick. To the crib? To the crib? Oh, shit. Oh, now niggas having network issues. It's crazy out here. You see how they do me, But, I definitely feel it's a step in the right direction for EA as a company and just sports games as a whole, especially with them having the only license to make them. At least make something that the people want instead of giving us shit we haven't asked for. There goes the rage quit. And, yeah. Now, for the moment, I know a lot of you guys have been waiting for, what's the downsides? Well, for starters, in my experience with the game, I don't think there's quick play online, which I don't understand because Madden has quick play online enabled, but maybe it's something where you gotta do like a dynasty or something like that, but that's pretty stupid. Ran into a few bugs, not many, and it was mostly online. It may be because of the high demand on the servers. And lastly, one of the biggest ones in my opinion, there's no fucking mascot game. EA, if you ever watch this, I'm not real big right now, but I might get there one day. Bring that shit back, bro. That shit is fire. I want to see all the mascots go outside and lay the boomstick and hit stick fumbles, pick sixes, all that shit. But yeah, those are really the only three things that I can find as a downside for this game. Overall, it's pretty good. It's definitely a step in the right direction. But now it's the time we've all been waiting for. Let's throw it on the shit scale, see what it weigh up. On the shit scale today, I'm going to give college football 25 by EA Sports. 8.5 out of 10. The price tag on it's pretty hefty, $70, but it's a fun, fresh, fast-paced game. That's a good step in the right direction. This has been Scooper Poot. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe.